Just like with roots, we defined the logarithm as an inverse. So it won't be surprising that one of the first things we want to do with the logarithm function is to write inverses of exponential functions. So when we go to write an inverse, recall, our first step is to write x equals f of y. So x equals 2 to the y minus 3 plus 5 in this example. And then we want to isolate the exponential, so isolate the basic function here. So we have 2 to the y minus 3 plus 5. We need to get rid of that plus 5, and to do that we'll subtract 5 from both sides. So x minus 5 is 2 to the y minus 3. And then we rewrite this in log form, so we actually apply the inverse now. So the base is 2. We'll have a log base 2. And then the exponent and the argument switch places. We'll have a log base 2 of x minus 5, and that's equal to y minus 3. And there we go. And now we solve for y. We need to get rid of that 3, so we'll add 3 to both sides. Y is the log base 2 of x minus 5, and then add 3 to the result. And then our last step is to rewrite using the F inverse notation. So instead of y, we say F inverse of x is log base 2 of x minus 5 plus 3. And there we go. We can use the same method of the other way around to write the inverse of any log function. Our first move, just like always, is to write x equals f of y. So x equals the log base 7 of 3y minus 5 plus 2. And now the first thing we want to do is isolate the log. The log is now our core function here. So we need to get rid of this plus 2. We'll subtract 2 from both sides. X minus 2 is the log base 7 of 3y minus 5. Next we translate into exponential form. So the base stays the same, and the exponent and the argument switch places. My exponent is now x minus 2. What's equal to that is 3y minus 5. Next we solve for y. So we'll add 5 to both sides. 3y is 7 to the x minus 2 plus 5. And then we'll divide both sides by 3. So y is 7 to the x minus 2 plus 5, all divided by 3. And that's our F inverse. F inverse of x is 7 to the x minus 2 plus 5 all over 3. Or it might look nicer if we distributed this division, and we have 1/3 times 7 to the x minus 2 plus 5/3. You can put that in whichever form you prefer. And that's all there is to it. Just isolate the core function, apply the inverse, and then continue to solve for y, the same way we have with every inverse we've taken.